Hello dear subscribers and watchers, welcome back again. This is me Saidilia here from Computer Science for Self-Taught. And how are things on your side? This is the continuation of our previous tutorial over data exchange, in the process data exchange in Android. If you jump at the end of this video, make sure that you watch our previous video because this video belongs to the previous video. In this video, my idea is that in here I'm going to write some data into edit text, and when I click on the save file button, so it's going to save it to the internal storage of this application. And if the data was read successfully, so in here there is a text view that it says that data is written successfully, otherwise there will be written error or other thing. As this is the tags so that you can copy and paste them in your Android Studio. Make sure that you pause the video, otherwise you won't be able. Okay, let me go to the save file. Okay, and on the on click, as you can see on the on click, there is a me to save file. Whenever the button is clicked, we must get the data. What we need to do is we need to get the data. Okay, edit longitude. Okay, dot edit long. So in here I say dot get text dot to string. Now we have the data. So in order to write it into the file, so I'm going to use the file output stream. File output stream equals to null. In here I say file output stream equals to open file output. Give a name for your file name. I want to give something like .txt, and the mode is context.mode private. There may arise an exception, so I'm going to cast it. Sorry, I do not want to throw the exception here. What I'm going to do is alt enter surround or try and catch. Now I say file output stream dot write. Okay, so I say data dot get bytes. Again, there may arise an exception, so I'm going to add a catch clause to the existing try catch whenever the data is written successfully. So I'm going to access to the text to find v by idr.id dot status dot set text data saved successfully. So I'm going to put a back colon in here, get files dir. Okay, dot get absolute path. Color for our text view will be something like status dot set text color dot green. Okay, if there was an exception, so what we need to do is, so I'm going to copy paste in here, and I'm going to change the color to red one, and I'm going to say to the user that the error that has been arised is something like this, e.to string. And after you have done that, make sure that you close your file output stream, because it is like a water pump which is connected to the tanker. Whenever you have done your stuff by using the water from that pipe, you need to close that, otherwise you waste resource. So that's why I'm gonna say file output stream, if it was not equals to null, then come and close the file output stream. Again, I have to surround it with. So let's run and see if it works properly or not. Okay, let's try something. Subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's click and save. There you go, you can see data saved successfully to this path. Okay, to the internal storage. So I have got another Android Studio, something like this one. Whenever I click on the load from first app, so it's going to get the data from our previous app, and it's going to set that inside the edit text. So this is the layout for my current activity. Okay, make sure that you do the same thing. So I have to handle the load from first app. So on load data, there must be a method inside that. Yes, there is. So whenever the user click on the load data, so what we need to do is we need to get the data from our previous app, and for that we use the class of package manager, because it is the class that contains or holds all the information about all the apps that you have installed inside your Android phone. So I say get package manager. Okay, so I need to store that inside the package manager. Package manager equals to get package manager class. So now we must query to which application we want to get its data. So I say package manager dot get application info. The first parameter, we must pass the package name of our previous application. So the package name for our previous application is something like this one. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I paste this in here. I make sure that you put it inside colon. Okay, and the next parameter requires flags. So I say to the package manager, give me the information or give me the data from this application with this package name, okay, and I want to get all of its data. So what I say, package manager dot get, okay, metadata. So it returns an object of application info, so I store that inside the application info. Application info equals to this one, okay. So again we need to surround it with try and catch, and that's it. Now we have told the package manager get all data from the application with this package name. Now we have access to the directory where this application has stored its files. So for simplicity, I'm going to toast that for the user. So I say status.setText application info, and I call the data dir. Okay, this is the part of the previous application which have stored its file, and we use the package manager to have access to it. So this variable will return as the part of that file. Okay, and that's it. So now let me run and see what happens. So for that, before that, I have to set the color status the set text color, the set text color dot green. Okay, let me run this and see it in front of your eye. So I'm going to close this up. Okay, when I click on the load from first app, we now have access to the internal storage of that application which uses this project name. So let's see what happens when I click on the load from first app. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, it says data user com.example this application. Okay, but let's see how we can load the data from this path and set it into edit text. So I say in here, say data. For now I'm going to remove this. Now we will pass the path to the rate file in here, okay, the full path. So what I'm going to do, this rate file, and I say, so I'm going to create a string variable in here, and I say full path application info dot data dir, and you must also write files and name of that file. So the name of that file is something like this. So I'm going to put it in here, and I put the semicolon, and I pass the full path to the rate file. Now inside the rate file method we will use file input stream for reading the data. Okay, and I say file input stream equals to null. So I say file, sorry about this, file input stream equals to null, file input stream equals to new file input stream. So we need to cast the full path inside the file. Okay, and I pass the full path in here, and again there may arise an exception. I'm going to surround this with try and catch. Okay, now we have the path. Let's get the data from it. So I'm going to create a variable equals to, I also use the string buffer equals to new string buffer. Okay, so in here I'm going to use the while loop, and I say read equals to file input stream dot read. If it was not equals to -1, then start reading. So there may arise an exception. I have to surround it with try and catch. Okay, and in here I say buffer dot append. So the data is in the form of bytes. I'm going to cast this to char, and I put the read variable in here. After our data read successfully, so I have to set it to their respective edit text. So I say edit text find v by id r.id dot edit box set text, and I pass the buffer in here, and I put it to a string. Okay, and I also use the status dot set text data read successfully from, and I put the full path in here, and I also status dot set text color dot green. Okay, if there was an error, so I will set error status dot set text e dot to string. Okay, status dot set text not set text, I say status dot set text color, and I say color dot red one, and I copy paste the same thing, and I paste them inside the try catch. And again we must close the file input stream, sorry about this. If the file input stream was not equals to null, then come and close this file input stream and close. There may arise an exception. Again I have to surround it with try and catch. Okay, So let's run and see what happens when we load the data from the another application. So let me click this. Bam, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You see, file not found exception, data user come as her, my application files, computer science for self-taught, permission denied. Because in Android you cannot read other app data. If you want two applications can read each other data, so you must give them the same app user ID, as I've discussed about this attribute in my previous video. If you haven't watched this, make sure that you watch that, otherwise you won't understand it much. So let's give them the same app user ID, because in Android whenever you install an app, at the time of installation, Android will assign this app a unique app user ID. Let me close this. So in here I'm going to my first application, so I'm going to copy the package name, and inside the Android manifest file, which is inside this folder, okay, inside the manifest tag write share user ID, Android share user ID, and put the package name in here. So the same thing we do for our second app. I go to the Android manifest, and in here I say share user ID, and I paste the same package name. Now our both apps have the same user ID. I mean, both apps have same app user ID inside your phone. Now you can read each other's data. Now your application can read each other data. But also don't forget that although you have set both apps the same app user ID, but they have different process ID and have different process name. Let me run our first app again. Before doing that, so I have to clear my emulator, okay, and I say wipe data, yes. So I have to run it. By using this attribute, you allow both apps to read each other data. Let me write something. Computer before, okay, subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay. Let me say that. You see, data saved successfully to this location. Now let's run our second app, which is this one, okay. When I click run, also I have already set the same packaging, so I'm going to close. So when I click on the load from first app, so it's going to get the data from our previous app. Bam, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it very clearly. Data read successfully from this location and with this file name. How you can share one app's data to another app. So I have to make you crystal clear, because both apps have the same user app ID, but they have separate process ID. That means I have successfully established data exchange between two processes that share the same app's user ID. So both apps have the same user app ID, but they have the separate process ID. That means I have successfully established data exchange between two processes that share the same app user ID, and thereby completed my video and inter-process data exchange in Android. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it every bit the way I enjoyed making this video. If you like what you saw, make sure that you subscribe us and let us know your thoughts in the comment boxes below this video, and I'll answer them ASAP. So till next video, have fun learning, and I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial that we will discuss about multi-threading in Android.